You. Yes, you. Have you ever felt like you were meant for more? More than your ordinary background? Your humble circumstance? What if I told you that somewhere, ages ago, an ancient prophecy foretold your arrival? That you, and only you, have a hidden destiny and a great power within you. The power to save us all, to defeat an evil that threatens the world, even if you began as a common villager, an outcast, or a prisoner headed for the chopping block. For you are more than your modest beginnings, my friend. You are the chosen one. The Chosen One trope is one of the oldest, most beloved, and most widely used narrative traditions in gaming. Video games love a chosen one like a Nintendo lawyer loves a cease and desist. In this video, we're diving sword first into why, how, and what makes this trope so irresistible to players and developers alike, with some key examples along the way. So, what exactly is the Chosen One trope? Well, it's a narrative recipe about as old as storytelling itself, and like any good recipe, it's got some common ingredients. A preordained destiny, which usually comes standard with a prophecy of some kind.
The prophecy which brought the Kaviri to Tamriel in the first place.
Some dusty old scroll or cryptic vision, maybe an enlightened mentor spells it all out.
So it's all happening just like the seer said it would.
A savior will rise to save the world and defeat a great evil. Forget your local bandit problem. Those guys are training dummies compared to the real threat. We're talking world-devouring dragons, dark lords in spiky armor, literal demons from hell. For the Chosen One, the stakes are apocalyptic, which is why they need unique qualifications. Maybe they're blessed with a divine superpower or rare magic ability. Maybe they're the last of an ancient bloodline, or the only one able to wield the the sword of fate, or scroll of whatever. Sometimes it's a combination of all these things. The universe has a clear way of saying, no, really, you. Only you. This helps to curb the doubt our unlikely hero may carry due to their humble origins. From farmhand to demigod. From prisoner to dragon slayer. The transformation is part of the magic. That journey from obscurity to legend is half the fun in these stories. It's also our doorway into the trope, putting us in their shoes and facilitating the escape these stories often provide. For most of us, a humble hero is a relatable one. The Chosen One isn't just the main character of a game or a story. They become the main character of the world that story is unfolding in. Sometimes the protagonist may be reluctant, the classic unwilling hero, a trope of its own. Other times they're all in from go, ready to shoulder the burden of the world's end. They may have even been training for it their entire lives, knowingly or unknowingly.
You have trained hard and are ready. You will have a pivotal role in some great events, my student.
Either way, fate has a contract they entered at birth, and there is no opt-out clause. As I mentioned before, the Chosen One is an old trope, one of the oldest. You can track its elements all the way back to myth and legend. King Arthur pulling Excalibur from the stone, proving his divine right to rule. Perseus taking on Medusa, armed by the gods en route to a prophesied fate. There are even religious stories that fit the bill, like Moses being chosen by God to free his people and become a waterbender or something. Long before video games became the biggest entertainment industry in the world, the Chosen One trope had already become pervasive in pop culture, and it still is. They're in books, they're all over the silver screen. Examples are everywhere in fiction, as are subversions and deconstructions. You've seen a bunch. Paul Atreides becoming the Kwisatz Haderach, that one goes a little sideways. Luke Skywalker becoming becoming the last hope of the Jedi after Daddy Chosen One kind of blew it.
You were the chosen one!
Neo, Frodo, Buffy, this guy, and his tongue. The list goes on. Why does the trope endure? In part, I think, because of what I mentioned earlier. That built-in escapist power fantasy that comes from the character's miraculous growth from nobody to somebody. One person, against all odds, making a world-trembling difference despite where they came from, and coming to believe they can, despite any doubts along the way.
He's beginning to believe.
We, unfortunately, live in a world that often stands counter to that childlike dream. Many of us do have the odds stacked against us in life. And at some point, growing up, most of us learn that we have to make some compromise between that fantasy and harsh reality. And it can be tough to keep going, to keep pursuing your dreams, believing that you can make a difference, that you really matter. So while we're all trying to find our way and stay motivated, stories like these are comforting. They're inspiring. And even when it's played perfectly straight, just the same as you've seen before, when done well, the Chosen One trope can be the perfect way to start one of those classic comfort food adventures. When done well. Emphasis. So why did the prophecy pick up a controller? Why did this trope seemingly find its dream home in video games? A few reasons, I think, but a lot of it comes down to two things. One from a narrative angle, and one from a gameplay perspective. Player agency,
It's doing what I'm telling it.
and vertical progression.
I'm so proud of you.
In movies or books, you may relate to the Chosen One, but there's still a layer of separation compared to the uniquely interactive medium of video games. The controller in your hands is that sword, that superpower, and you decide how to wield it. As you get better at the game, your character gets better at being a hero. All of those experience points you're investing in their progression don't just serve as a mechanical reward, but as a reflection of your humble nobody becoming that powerful somebody. The prophecy, the grand destiny, isn't just about some character on the screen. It's about you. The game world revolves around your choices, your growth, your inventory full of ingredients you'll never use. Is this trope overused? Absolutely, it is. But it can also be very effective, still. For some game designers, the Chosen One can be a narrative gift. It's a built-in explanation for why you, the player, are the center of the universe.
Good. You're finally here. The Jarl's been waiting for you.
Why townsfolk trust you with an important task 5 minutes after meeting you.
There is something you could do for me. For all of us here.
Why everyone wants to help you, follow you, or kill you.
Lead the way. I got your back.
When written well, or even just when paired well with great gameplay and design systems that suit the trope, it works. And it didn't take long for developers to figure out that it works for games. Our relatively young medium was practically in its infancy when elements of the trope first made their way over. But which game featured our first fully realized Chosen One? Well, that's arguable. It really comes down to where you draw the line. How many of those trope elements I mentioned earlier must be present for a game to count? For my money, it's the original Dragon Quest. First released in Japan for the Famicom in 1986, with the North American version coming in '89.
It's still
Dragon Warrior.
me, damn it!
This landmark JRPG, in my opinion, features one of the purest and most foundational examples of the Chosen One narrative in games. While earlier fantasy games of the era cast the player as a somewhat generic adventurer summoned to battle dark lords, Dragon Quest is pretty much the whole shebang. Standing before the King of Alefgard in the game's opening moments, it becomes clear from the get-go that you are special. You're the lone descendant of a mythical hero named Erdrick, and legend states you are the only one who can fulfill the destiny of your bloodline. You're not just a hero, you're the hero. So the king sends you on a quest. You must recover your ancestors' sacred artifacts, rescue the kidnapped Princess Gwaelin, and defeat the Dragon Lord, our mandatory great evil, who has stolen the magical ball of light and covered the land in darkness. Very Chosen One-y. Was it really the first? Like I said, it's a matter of opinion. Also, I may be a little biased, as Dragon Quest is actually the first RPG I ever played as a little baby gamer in the 90s. It's one of the games that made me fall in love with gaming. I remember it was a birthday gift, one of my earliest memories. I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and the game I had actually asked for was Double Dragon, a very different game. I had played it over my cousin's house, and I was obsessed with martial arts as a kid, so I needed that game. Well, I guess the store my dad went to didn't have Double Dragon, or maybe he just mixed up the names, I don't know, but the game he came home with was Dragon Warrior. I was little, maybe my parents thought I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. A dragon's a dragon, right? Well, I was devastated. I wanted Double Dragon. I wanted cheesy martial arts bros, not knights in shining armor. But they convinced me to give this other game a try, and I did, and I eventually became grateful for that little mistake. Because to this day, RPGs are my favorite kind of game. It's one of the reasons I picked The Chosen One as my first trope to cover. I knew I'd get to play and talk about a bunch of RPGs for this series, and it all started with Dragon Warrior. Dragon Quest. Anyway, sorry, little side quest down memory lane. But like I said, my pick might be biased. If you disagree with my choice, if you think there's a better or earlier game that fits the bill for the real first Chosen One in video games, please let me know in the comments. Tell me yours, make your case, I want to hear it. It's worth mentioning, by the way, that this era of gaming did become a veritable hotbed for Chosen One stories, including the original Final Fantasy in 1987, directly inspired by Dragon Quest. The Legend of Zelda 2, also in 87. And so on and so on. Now you're probably noticing a trend here, and I kind of mentioned it already. Every example so far is an RPG, and it's true. While the Chosen One archetype certainly does appear in other genres in one form or another, it has been overwhelmingly concentrated in role-playing games by comparison, especially in those early days. The genre's inherent focus on epic stakes and character progression make it very well suited for this kind of story. Those early Chosen Ones were often silent protagonists, another trope I might cover in the future. They became blank slates for players to project themselves onto. As games matured as a medium, so did their storytelling. Protagonists now have rich, complex backstories.
My brother was murdered.
Modern games frequently attempt to engage this trope in more interesting ways, subverting it at times, deconstructing it. Characters and players often have more agency to question or even reject the fate of the Chosen One.
There are no gods here. There are only monsters.
It's been parodied a few times too.
Could it be that the prophecies are true? Could it be that the Dragonborn has come at last, in our hour of need?
Okay, I gave you my pick for the earliest clear example of the Chosen One trope in games. How about some more recent ones? Well, we still have plenty to choose from, including some interesting takes. I'll share a few here, but I'm going to keep these descriptions somewhat brief and basic because, for one, this video has already gone on for a bit, but also this is kind of meant to be an introduction to a series. I intend to follow this post up with some deep dive videos on individual games, including some of the examples I'm about to name. Throughout the series, I'll examine how each game uses, abuses, or subverts the Chosen One concept. I'll break down what I think works, what doesn't, and hopefully draw a picture of why these stories keep resonating with us, no matter how many times they tell us the world needs us, over and over again. Here are some of my favorite candidates for those follow-up videos in the Chosen One series. Some light spoilers ahead, be forewarned. The Elder Scrolls V. Skyrim. The Elder Scrolls games love a good Chosen One. You've probably played this one. It's one of the most popular titles ever, and the main quest checks all the boxes. You're the Dragonborn, a condemned prisoner who turns out to have the soul of a dragon stuffed into your mortal body. Prophecy says only you can save Tamriel from Alduin the World Eater, an ancient dragon whose appearance marks the end of days. Or you can just ignore all that, go fishing, build a house, hoard cheese wheels. Perfectly valid. Dragon Quest XI. In the most recent sequel to my pick for granddaddy of them all, we lean into the Chosen One trope so hard it practically falls over. You're the reincarnation of the Luminary, born with a sacred mark which says you must stand against a coming darkness. But when you embrace your destiny and present yourself to the king, things don't go quite like Mom says they will. As you can probably tell from that description, a hefty amount of nostalgia fuels the journey here. It's a grand, heartfelt adventure about living up to a legend, one dead slime at a time. Doom. Hey, it's not an RPG. This one's fun. In the Doom Revival series, the prophecy of the Chosen One doesn't originate with the good guys when we first hear it. It's a warning, whispered in fear by the very legions of hell. The demons themselves foretell the second coming of the Doomslayer, and they are rightfully terrified of this unstoppable juggernaut coming to rip, tear, and blast his way through their hordes as they try to invade our realm. Doom Eternal and the most recent title, The Dark Ages, expand on that lore, showing us how Doom Guy really became the Doom Slayer. I'm packaging all three together in this example for that reason, and because I'll probably end up covering them all. They're too damn fun not to. The Legend of Zelda, Skyward Sword. Our boy Link is the chosen one in pretty much all of the Zelda games, and I may cover more of them in this series, but divided opinions aside, this one shows how it all began. You start as a knight in training from a city in the clouds. Then a divine destiny and a sacred sword call you to a forgotten world below. This isn't just about saving the day, it's about fulfilling an ancient plan and forging the legend that every future incarnation of our hero will inherit. The Weight of Destiny, now with motion controls. Final Fantasy XVI. Originally I thought about putting Final Fantasy XV here because it seems like more of a classic Chosen One story, and I probably will take a look at that one eventually, but I'm highlighting 16 first, not just because it's more recent, but because I wanted some more deconstruction on this list. Final Fantasy XVI is a story where destiny can be a curse. Magical chosen ones in this world are often exploited for war as living weapons. You play a jaded soldier, forced to serve on the front lines, but when the system begins to crumble, you end up wielding a catastrophic power you never wanted on a dark quest for revenge. Like other games on this list, the story has its issues, but it's a somewhat brutal look at the trope, where being chosen is less a gift and more of a life sentence. Horizon Zero Dawn. This open-world action game swaps prophecy for post-apocalypse. You are Aloy, a skilled hunter and a literal outcast in a ruined world full of giant robotic beasts. Her chosen status isn't divine, it's a mystery tied to the technology of the ancient past. What begins as a personal quest to discover her origins spirals into a race to understand the cataclysm that destroyed the old world, and to prevent a new one. It's a story where destiny is kind of an archaeological puzzle, and as Aloy, you are somehow the only one who can read the instructions. I haven't played the sequel yet, I might end up covering them both. Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. What happens when the real Chosen One fails? When you lean on destiny a little too hard? In this grimdark take on Arthurian legend, King Arthur and his heroes have already ventured out to solve the land's problems, and things didn't go exactly as they planned. This is another one that doesn't quite play the trope straight, but it takes a different look at one of the most famous examples from myth and legend. The player character is a nobody, diseased, condemned, and waiting for death, but circumstance and some very unsettling magic pull you toward a role in the crumbling prophecy of the once and future king. It's a grim, atmospheric RPG where destiny feels more like a trap than a triumph, and surviving it means rewriting the myth itself. So that's my short list so far for potential Chosen One deep dives in the near future. As you can see, I chose more than just straightforward examples, and there are many more games that qualify for this series. So keep an eye on your feed, because I'm sure you subscribed, right? Maybe? Pretty please?
If you'll do that for me, I'll be in your debt.
There's a lot more to come, and if there's a game I didn't mention yet that you think embodies or subverts this trope in interesting ways, please let me know in a comment. Maybe I'll explore your pick in one of those future vids. And this is just the beginning, by the way. Only the first video and only the first trope I'm exploring. This ain't the Chosen One channel. There are a lot of tropes I can cover here. I mean a lot. Look at all those. That's not even a complete list. Games love tropes, stories love tropes, and I can't get enough of this stuff. I can't wait to explore it all. If there's a particular trope you would like to see me cover sooner than later, whether it was on that list or not, please let me know about that too. I want to know what you want to see. I am here for you. So whether you're a silent hero in green, a dragonborn shouting goats off mountains, or just a nobody harassed by destiny, please stick around. The prophecy says you are exactly who we need to like and subscribe. See you next time, Chosen.
He's got the brass key! He's some kind of dragonborn!
Now look, this is detention time, not time to play Dungeons and Dragons. And besides, he's never gonna get inside here because to open the door you need the gold key, and the only way to get the gold key is by getting the silver key. Okay, which even if he has the brass key, he still hasn't made it past the boss level. Okay?